back to Kyle Malin. It was a storm of sorts yesterday, but MIRSnews.com has all the results already if you go there right now and subscribe like we do. And no big surprises.
No, there wasn't. I think we kind of talked about it last time we were on there, and maybe that was the surprise. I was waiting for the big surprise to come. Maybe it was Brenda Lawrence.
I was just going to say that.
Sweekin went out there against Rudy Hobbs. Rudy Hobbs looked like he might be able to pull that out, but Brenda Lawrence did very well in Wayne County and Detroit, which was surprising. And that combined with her strong performance in Oakland County and Southfield, where she's been a mayor for 4 terms, got her ahead of Rudy there at the end, even though he had the support of business and labor and a lot of public officials out there.
So she's likely going to Congress there in the Gary Peters seat.
That's right. That's a Democratic seat, so she'll go ahead and succeed him then.
Justin Amash, I guess, is going to be congressman for life there if he wants to be.
I think unless, barring some scandal, they seem to like him. I mean, this was going to be his big challenge, and Brian Ellis didn't really step up. I mean, and it's not for lack of trying, I mean, he tried to hit Amash every which way but Sunday. He went on the air with attacks, and he tried to stay positive. Nothing seemed to work, and it looks like Amash is going to be the chair of the Liberty Caucus in Congress for as long as he wants to be.
He was Mr. Sour Grapes a bit yesterday in victory, I thought, taking some swipes, and apparently he didn't take the concession phone call. Here's what he said about his challenger, Brian Ellis, trying to call him to concede.
You had the audacity to try to call me today after running a campaign that was called the nastiest in the country. I ran for office to stop people like you.
Did you think it was that nasty? Basically, he was pointing out his voting record, wasn't he?
Yeah. I guess he took that a little personally. Personally, I think that there's probably been nastier races. I think the Greg McMaster, Wayne Schmidt race was probably nastier than that. But, I didn't live it. So, he's obviously got a different perspective than I do.
Wayne Schmidt did win, but his dynamic duo partner in crime there, Frank Foster, did not, and he will not be going back to the state house.
That's right. And the impact, I think, for the state of Michigan is that any chance of getting the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act amended to include gays and lesbians took a very serious hit, if didn't just kill it altogether for this term.
Wow, why do you say that?
Well, Frank Foster was the sponsor of that legislation, or he was going to. It hadn't been introduced yet, but the working knowledge is that Foster wins the primary. He introduces it during this September season before the general election. The House votes on it to try and make themselves look more moderate going up in the general election against Democrats. Now that Foster is damaged goods, I think that there's going to be a lot of Republicans who are looking at this like, I don't know if I want to walk the plank on this too. So that it certainly dampers it, if doesn't kill it altogether.
Because he could do it in lame duck. It's easy for him now because he's not coming back anyway.
That's true, but there's going to be a lot of lawmakers who aren't going to be lame ducks and will have to run again, and they see this as pretty stinky pile of poo, and they don't want to touch it.
Is that because of the area Frank Foster is from, the district?
I don't know if it had much to do with necessarily the issue, as it did maybe Frank getting a late start off the blocks there in his campaign. And the other problem is Frank had earned the reputation of being the lobbyist's best friend down here. The Michigan Campaign Finance Network had listed him as the #1 recipient of free meals and drinks from lobbyists for at least, I think, 2 years. And so that message got out there. There was also some questions if he'd gone around the district enough. And I think those two issues, also played a part in it. Because if you look statewide, besides him and Kerry Benevolio, no other incumbent lost, even though there were sufficient Tea Party challengers to a lot of Republican incumbents. Frank Foster was the only one that lost. So I think that there are some special dynamics at play in that seat.
The dynamics of MIRSnews.com from Kyle Malin will continue in 3 minutes. MIRSnews.com. If you're online, go there. This morning we'll